been a fairly interesting lion morning, or a fairly interesting lion day. Late in the morning we found the Ottawa male moving past the camps. He ended up chasing a pride that we didn't even know was in the river, just in front of tree camp. Some of that pride is now lying in the river, still there. The Ottawa male's moved off, we're not too sure where, but we did hear a lion roaring in the north of the reserve. Now we found a Birmingham male and an Nsevu female together. We haven't seen them mating yet, but we presume that's why they're together. What's fascinating is the Birmingham male, is only about 500 meters from where the Ottawa male was this morning. But as far as we know, there was no interaction there. So we would have expected there to be some kind of clash. Birmingham male would have heard the Ottawa male roaring for sure. The female here, it's one of the Nsevu lionesses, and she was giving a soft contact call just now. We're hoping that they'll want to reunite. Maybe she'll walk over to them, or they'll come out of the river and join her. The Ottawa male chased an unknown pride in the river in front of camp. We now have an Nsevu lion.
That's gonna be gone in a few seconds.
Where do those new ones? Where do those new ones rank? They rank high?
That one's just like, I don't want to get in there. Oh my god.
That's so they probably need to put the leg down. Is that the other one that went off with something? Did the outsider?
A clan of hyenas can kill a single lion. But fortunately, the pride is nearby. And the hyena pup is the lone casualty.
And one of the Birmingham males is here looking for this lioness. Make of that all what you will. So there are lions everywhere and we don't actually know what's happening. Oh, I mean, so much of what happens with lions happens... Oh, here she goes again. All good. Okay, take two with the microphone plugged in. Starting to make a habit of that. We are with a big herd of buffalo down in the southwestern grasslands. We haven't seen an impressive herd like this in many a month. In 2016, during the drought, the local buffalo population got decimated by really poor conditions. A lot of them died of starvation, lions hammered them, and numbers have been low since. So as a result, we generally don't see herds this big, but now this herd is probably a good few hundred. Really impressive. And what's more exciting for us at the moment is that the tracks of the Nsevu Pride are in the area. They were around here last night. We're going to complete a loop around the herd just to see if we can spot any lions. The last tracks came into this area. So yeah, let's give it a bit of a look. Let's go do a couple of loops. So it's a pretty gloomy evening, but we've just found the Mangain pride, which brightens it up a little bit. And if ever we needed a lesson on how camouflaged lions can be in the long brown grass, this was it. Very fresh tracks that we were following, and suddenly we looked up and there were 6 heads looking at us. So yeah, they're not moving very far. They've walked off into the bush a little bit and they're all lying down again now. One of the younger ones, has got a pretty bad injury in its back left leg. Apparently sustained in a buffalo hunt about a month ago. It doesn't look good, but lions and big cats in general are tremendously resilient creatures. They've got incredible powers of recovery. As long as they're getting enough food, their bodies can heal very, very well. So that injury may come right in time. And lions obviously have the advantage of being social cats, so as long as the rest of the pride is bringing down prey and there's enough food for the injured one to get before everything's been finished, then it stands a very good chance of recovery. So it's a dark night, or it's a dark evening, it's cloudy, there's going to be very little light, the moon is only coming up late anyway, so these are excellent hunting conditions. So we're going to stick with them as it gets dark and just see what happens. We don't know if there's anything around for them to hunt, but this is the time to stick with the pride when they're on the move. So we can hear running, we can hear impalas alarming sporadically. So a couple of the lions have been seen, or at least smelt, probably seen.
Can't see any lions at the moment, but they've split up in this area in front of us. It's getting quite thick and dark, so right now best thing we can do is just listen.
Yeah, so from the looks of it, they've missed and they've gone to sleep again. Lions are all about conserving energy, so I think we're going to leave them be. They might sleep here for a while. They'll probably catch something tonight. I mean, the conditions are perfect, but it's a pretty tricky block to stay with them. And I think the more we crash around and trying to follow them, the more we're going to impact their hunt. So we'll let them go and wish them success. It's just gone dawn. We're following up on lions roaring quite close to camp. Generally when we hear the Birmingham males and Cebu pride, it's mainly the males that call. They're east of camp. That's where the bulk of their territory is. This is west of camp, so we're wondering who it could be. Two male lions, we're not sure exactly who they are. It's not the Birmingham males, so we're just going to have to ID them. There's a whole lot of hyenas building around. This is an interesting development. It looks like these are the northern Avoca males, which we never see in this area of Londolozi. They're scent marking, they're roaring. We think something's happened here, maybe a kill, maybe they've chased other lions off a kill. There's a lot of hyenas in the area, which in itself doesn't mean much because there's a den not too far away. Hyenas might have just come to investigate the lion activity. We think maybe there's a pride around that these guys have come and chased off. So it's fairly exciting having a new coalition around. Pretty confident it's the northern Avoca males, who I've never seen, but just judging by the fact there are two of them, they're a little bit younger, their manes aren't quite full, it looks like them, and the behavior they're exhibiting here is exactly that of lions who don't exactly know where they are. You can tell they're very new to the area, they're kind of looking around, a bit unsure. So while we don't exactly know what brought these two Avoca males here, what we do know is this is the trend we see over the years within the male lion population. So we're part of a 20,000 square kilometer ecosystem, which is all open, no fences between any of the reserves, the Kruger Park, the Sabi Sands, it's all contiguous. And lions come and go as they please, and this is the kind of succession we see in the male lion dynamics. Older coalitions go past their prime and they start kind of falling off the top of the tree. As they get weaker, younger males come in, push them out, take their place. Sire cubs, they have a couple of years ruling over a territory in prides, and then they in turn get pushed out. So this isn't exactly a pride takeover that's happening, it's just two males in a new area. We know they came from the north. The tracks came over the river at one of our prominent crossings. So I think the plan is probably to leave them to sleep for now, and then come back this afternoon, see what they get up to, and if we're very lucky, we might get them going back over the river.
We didn't want to be too pessimistic, but we honestly thought that none of the pups had survived.
We're sitting at the wild dog den this afternoon, but with far more anxiety than usual. We couldn't make out that anything happened on the footage.
Because it was such a big termite mound, we couldn't see if there were other lions getting into the den at other angles.
It's a fairly nervous wait so far. So we've been sitting at the den for about 2 hours this afternoon. Nothing's happened, all quiet.
We went a whole 3 game drives without seeing anything at the wild dog den.
Right, so it's the next morning. We're approaching the wild dog den again. We're fairly anxious here. Okay, one positive sign already. The female is here. That's good. Our fear yesterday was that because neither adult was here, we thought something, obviously the worst had happened and they just abandoned the den completely. She does have a little wound just at the base of her tail. Given that she had an entire ear ripped off by hyenas, she survived a lot worse. Our hopes are slightly higher now, and now we just got to wait.
So it was about the 3rd or 4th drive after we'd seen the footage of those lions at the den that we headed there early one morning. We sat just hoping that we'd see all 10 pups come bounding out of the den as they had been doing so many times before. As we arrived, we saw
we're just arriving at the wild dog den. Haven't been for a couple of days while it's been raining and cold. So we've given them a couple of days, no vehicles now. There are a lot of vultures. Okay, no, there's a dog here, all safe. Phew. There are a whole lot of vultures in the trees, and I was wondering what's happened here. Have lions made a kill in the area? But here's a male, there's the female. Okay, thumbs up. Everything looks good. Haven't seen the pups yet, but I think we're smiling here. Now, that is a bit of a concern because, well, 8 at 10, I mean, some might still be underground in the den. But now the mum's moved off as if she's not intent on calling the rest. And usually when some come out, they all come out. So I'm generally quite an optimist when it comes to situations like this. I mean, when the lions came through the den and tried to dig them out, I was fairly confident that the pups were okay, just given the nature of the den and what we'd seen. But this now is the first sign that things aren't all well. And I don't know what's happened here. I don't know if they went on a little excursion and some of the pups got killed by something. I don't know if the cold got them. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're probably going to leave them be just for the day, and then we'll come back this afternoon and check. But yeah, guys, I won't lie, we might have some bad news for you. So the adults are now moving with the 3 pups, 7 unaccounted for and missing. I think the fact that they've left the den, we're now about a kilometre away. Yeah, this is as sure a sign as you can get that something tragic's happened. So, yeah, not the fairy tale we were hoping for. So just going to stick with them, just following at a distance so as not to make the pups nervous, because obviously away from the den they're probably feeling quite exposed. But we'd like to just establish if they do go to a new den, which is more than likely. So we lost them going into a fairly inaccessible drainage line, very steep, very thick. Can't get the vehicle and can't follow. We don't know if it's a den that the adults have found. The female did look like she was heading on a direct line, so we can only hope that she had somewhere picked out that she knows is going to be safe for the pups. I mean, as much as we tell ourselves not to get attached, when you've got 10 little pups playing around your vehicle and you've watched them grow from the age of 2 weeks, it's pretty hard. So something like this, it hits you. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fairly glum day on Londolozi, as I imagine it is for many of you who've been following this story. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there's still 3 pups alive and well. So we just gotta kind of stay in their corner and keep hoping that they'll be fine. Okay, bit of an amazing morning. Just left the Insevu Pride, 21 lions sleeping back there. Now I've just bumped into the female cheetah with her 2 cubs in the open, the most insane view. The last time we saw them, they were nervous, scurrying into the grass. Now they're relaxed. I mean, we're keeping our distance, but they are. You can't ask for a better view than this. This is unbelievable. really cold, blustery day. So I think they just come out and expose themselves like that just to warm up in the sun, I'm sure. Cheetahs are a rarity here. Cheetah cubs, like hen's teeth. So to have them in the open with a view like this, I mean, this is sensational. This is the best cheetah cub view I've had in 10 years of being in Londolozi, hands down. So, I mean, you don't get views like that very often. Oh, the cubs moving in the open, that was insane. So they're moving into an area of quite long grass now, so the view is going to be a little bit tricky. The last time we saw these cubs, they were nervous, long grass, hiding, skittish. You know, this is unbelievable. Yeah. You know, just to see an animal walking is thrilling. We're all speechless. You know, there's been no action per se, no running, chasing, anything like that. It's just the cubs following their mom, but it's been unreal. You wouldn't think a sighting of a group of fairly placid bovines could leave you so breathless, but let me tell you it can. When 500 or 600 buffalo come through a waterhole like that, it's overwhelming. There's just so much going on. They're digging in the mud, they're splashing around, snorting, bellowing, their oxpeckers flying. It's just, you don't know where to look. So multiple senses are getting assaulted, and the sound is probably the most impressive thing about it. And as quickly as they've come, they've gone. Just wandering off into the grasslands. Usually they'll drink twice a day, so I think this was their morning beverage, and then this evening I'm sure they'll come back for a sec. Well, they'll find another waterhole maybe. What'll often happen in a big herd like this is that the front runners churn up the water into a big muddy mess, so that the ones at the rear of the herd don't get a really nice drink, but they'll swing around to the front as others drink. And then by the next waterhole, the ones who missed out, they'll be up front and they'll get the best water. So this evening we'll see where they end up. Please fall, please fall. It's a tiny little giraffe calf, well, as tiny as 2 meters tall can be. That's how big they are when they're born. Very, very young. Skin still loose. It's a little bit wobbly on its feet. The umbilical cord still really long. Well, the umbilical cord doesn't drop off for a couple of weeks, but this one's really long, which shows us it's new, this little thing. And what's wonderful here is there are a couple of young giraffes around the crest where we're sitting. Female giraffes will regularly keep their little calves in creches. It just takes a little bit of pressure off the mother. She can afford to focus on feeding a bit more, while there are more eyes than just hers watching out for danger. The other mothers all keeping watch, and the young ones stay in a group. So we've seen at least 3 of these little calves around here. But this one just behind us is definitely the youngest. Really special. So a hyena's just come on the scene that the mother giraffe was watching fairly intently. Doesn't pose much of a danger to the young one. I mean, look, it could take it down, but the calf will stay very close to the mother, and giraffes have a lethal kick. I mean, they've been known to kill lions. They connect on their head, tickets for the predator, so I don't think the hyena's even going to chance it. Still, the mother's just keeping a good eye on it, but I don't think she's too concerned. So I think we're going to leave them be. The youngsters, it's almost as young as you see them, so it's not too comfortable with the vehicles for now. It's just moved off into a thicket, and we don't want to keep pressuring it to try and get a good view. It's just going to make it nervous. So we'll let it be. I'm sure the hyena's going to go on its way, so the giraffe perfectly safe from him or her. It's hard to tell them apart. Yeah, let's go see what else we can find. We're down in the southwestern grasslands. We've come across a couple of the ostriches, which have become regular features of this area. A few years ago, we didn't see ostriches here until a single female came in. They used to have to run the gauntlet of predators across the thicker areas in the east of the reserve. To get down to these grasslands that they like inhabiting. Until in 2013 a single female arrived. She was here for 3 years by herself, and then the drought in 2016 opened the area up a little bit, and more ostriches started to arrive. The first to come were 2 males, and one of which mated with that female. They had chicks, and a lot of the ostriches we see today are the progeny of that pair. So the exciting news now is that this male is in breeding plumage. He's got pink streaks running down the front of his legs, and that shows that he's ready to mate. Although we lost some chicks last year, the 2 females had clutches, and there were 23 chicks in total. They all disappeared. We don't know exactly what happened to them, but we assume the predator got them. Maybe this year we'll be lucky and have some survive. So yeah, this male's looking like he's ready to mate. He's got 2 females with him, so we'll keep tabs on this little trio, and maybe we'll find a nest in the next couple of months.